Welcome back to episode 4 of the Acid Test Season 2. How are we doing, everybody? I'm just going to throw it out there.
Fantastic. Great to be back on the podcast today.
Is that Luke I hear?
It is me. Hello,
And
it's
C.
Luke.
And C.
Hey.
Sean,
What's up?
how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm actually all right. I was really low energy all day, but I've perked up. I'm good to go. Brett, how we doing?
Yeah, good. I'm dynamite, actually.
I'm going to dive straight into something from last week. Ever since you were talking about organic musicians last week, there's been one person on the radio that I've heard over and over again every time I've turned on the radio.
Is it G-Flip?
I wish. And I just, every time I hear them, they're supposed to be this really low-key artist, really organic, homegrown. And I'm hearing them flogged everywhere. Now I just don't know who's real anymore.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah. It's impossible to tell unless like someone eventually exposes them for what they actually are. But I don't know.
It's hard to tell if a station is just like really big fans or,
Yeah, I don't know. But man, make your mind up. Like, make your own mind up about that, because at
Whether you
the
like
end
it
of
or
the
not,
at the end of the day, they're still like good musicians and
like G-Flip.
like J. Well, all right, her songs are actually pretty catchy, so I'll give that to her. But yeah, I don't know. Some people might have a problem with it.
Out of curiosity, Brady, who is the artist?
Should I be dropping bombs?
I'm just curious. Not to be
about 5
controversial.
times,
I'm more just curious as to who it was.
I've dropped, it's about 5 times in our personal chat. Stella Donnelly. I don't know if you've heard, Fremantle artist.
To be honest, I probably know her songs. I couldn't name one.
She was the Triple J Artist of the Week last week, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
right.
So I understand why she was getting, a lot of airtime. But that finished a few days ago, and then I turned the radio on today. And up next, we have Stella Donnelly. For fuck's sake.
Can't get enough.
Loving it. Anyway, first topic, what do we got, Brett?
We're going to be talking about, I guess, I like to call it sort of disconnected society. So starting off, a friend of mine who works as a mental health nurse, he sent me a video sort of on this as not even related for the podcast, just as a topic for something work-related for me. And it just kind of got me thinking that basically we live in the most like dynamic sort of socially connected world, like online, but we're probably the loneliest we've ever been as like a group of people. So I was kind of thinking about it, and I don't know about you, but we'll say experience with social media is I remember like Facebook being big in maybe like year 12. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah.
Well, for me.
That's 2010, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
when I got it. I got it in 2009.
Yeah, I think I only got it because I had surgery on my knee. So I was just like, well, I might as well check out this thing. Like I had all this time. I was like, fuck, I don't really care.
They
But-
killed MSN.
MySpace was winding
And
down.
MySpace, yeah.
Man, I miss it, MSN.
MSN was good.
That is the crystal right there.
That's it, guys. End of the episode.
We'll see you next week.
Yeah, but fuck, I remember you could put it on like Be Right Back. I ain't coming back.
Always perpetually busy, but always sitting there.
Or just talking to those people that you like actually wanted to talk to. Everyone else.
Offline?
Yeah.
Nudging them constantly.
And webcamming.
Yeah, that's right. That was like before Skype was big, hey?
Yeah. Good times.
But yeah, cool, right? So that's when like, I don't know, it was in its real like novelty factor. But it got me thinking, it's kind of like where we are now is, I don't know about you, but I remember being like a kid and like you would spend your time maybe playing like a little bit of video games, but generally outside. Like I would ride to friends' houses, you go to the park, kick the footy. You would hang out with like your neighbors if like they had kids your same age. Whereas like now people just seem to like stay indoors and talk to the same people. Like they play video games with their friends who live across the road or like, down the road, whatever. I don't know. Like, did you guys ever hang out with the people in your street?
Yes, in fact, I met all of you guys from people in my street.
Well, there we go.
That's made me who I am today. And God, some of the days when we just, it'd be a Saturday and we just text each other like, what are you up to? Let's just go down to the park and kick the soccer ball. Like, those were some of the best days. And then we just go back to someone's house and there we play like a bit of PlayStation. Yeah, or COD or whatever. Like, those are the golden days. And if there's kids missing out on those days, well, I feel sorry for them.
Did you ever, this is probably a bit younger, maybe like 10 to 15, ever play a game called Spotto?
Oh,
Yeah,
man, yeah.
of
Like
course.
with the number plate.
Yeah, the blue number plates. The blue number
Am
plates.
I thinking of
Spotto?
something different?
Well,
then?
that's...
Yeah, you
I'm
obviously...
thinking of the one with the flashlights at night.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
Hunt. We call it Hunt.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the same sort of thing. You'd hide and then you'd like have to shine the light like
yeah.
Spotto.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could play the game. You mean, Sean, were you thinking of the number plate game?
Yeah, that's literally called Spotto.
So yeah, the game you're thinking of, Brady, is if you're driving with someone, if you saw a green number plate, it was like 10 or 20 points. Blue was like
Okay.
30. Black's like 50. I don't know. Well, yeah. But then that game as well.
Yeah, that was a fun game. That was
I do remember
Hunt.
playing.
the hunt.
Well,
It sounds so much more
Hunt.
aggressive when you
It
call it
does.
hunt.
man, if you're
Going
in
out to hunt some kids.
if you're in like a really good area, like a really nice enclosed area of like probably 3-4 streets, and you play that game, it is hours worth
Do you
of
know
fun.
what it's called now? The Purge.
The Purge. Yeah.
I'd play that.
Oh, fuck. Sounds
like
more
it.
aggressive.
Yeah, jeez.
But yeah, okay. So
Moving on from
yeah,
Purge.
spotto. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird how like I guess I look at it as even though you like all of us have sort of grown up and where we don't have as much time. I guess us kind of getting together for even like the podcast is our way of still like going to the park or riding our bikes as adults. I don't know. I feel like
Yeah.
the next generation of people have kind of lost that
Yeah.
social awareness and like
They're a bit disconnected.
yeah, so I looked up some statistics on that and I kind of just looked up two things and it was the amount of mobile phones that are currently like active because obviously Instagram, Facebook, which went out by the way, obviously there was
Yeah.
the outage. So I wonder how many kids were stressing.
I didn't even.
I didn't
Notice
notice
that.
it.
Well, I mean,
at all.
fuck, I was
Neither did
working.
I,
I was
yeah.
working. So
Yeah.
I had no idea it was even out. Like,
yeah.
Until every station was talking about it and the news was
Oh my
constant.
God.
this is the first I've heard of it.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So yeah, there was an outage. I'm not quite sure for how long today, but Instagram
Few hours, I think.
and Facebook were like out, whatever that means.
Yeah, right. I was clearly working.
Yeah, you and me both.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's been a like steady rise in mobile phones, like the amount in the world. So what's the current population roughly?
6 to 7 billion.
Yeah, cool. So as of the end of last year, there was 4.7 billion mobile
Wow.
phones active,
Crazy.
Jeez.
which is a lot. I mean, you think of all the places where they probably don't have, even reception, but
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, and like infants.
yeah, absolutely, right? Like, I mean, how many of those are kids who shouldn't be
Yeah.
playing with technology?
But then there's probably also people that have more than
Multiple
one phone.
phones,
Yeah,
of
yeah,
course, yeah. So taking into account, it probably breaks even, like in that regard.
You don't think like I don't think a billion people would have like multiple phones though.
Oh, no.
I have two and I hate it.
Yeah?
I hate it.
I had 2 for
Do you
ages.
have a
and I
work
didn't
one?
care.
Yeah.
Yeah, like my partner's got a work and a personal one.
Pretty common. My
Yeah.
partner had that as well.
Yeah, most
I
most
used to have
people
that.
in like we'll say just business. It's pretty broad, but
Business.
like we'll say corporate. Yeah.
So you could say that maybe like 2 billion people own phones,
Sure.
like one or more phones.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think that's amazingly high. But anyway, we digress.
Anywho, so
I don't
like,
think it's important to
Yeah.
argue over like
No, we're going to
How
get to the
many
bottom of it.
I want to
takes an
argue
hour,
the yeah, I
but
want to
takes
argue
the
the
full
small
hour.
margins.
Let's get Statman on the case.
how many people have multiple phones. Yeah, good luck.
And search for that on your phone, by the way.
but not your work one, on your personal one. But yeah, basically my point is that over the last 5 years, there's been a steady average, like a steady increase of roughly 200. No, 200. Well, 4.7 billion to 4.5 billion. What's that? 2 million increase.
Yeah.
Yes.
200 million.
Yes. Wow.
oh,
Sorry.
billion, yeah.
Sorry. 200 million increase steadily, like
Of phones.
annually. Yeah, for the last 5 years.
What's that, like 0.5%? That doesn't seem like a very big rise.
But still, like it's consistently.
No, sorry, that's 5%. It's 5%. Yeah, that's a pretty big rise.
That's a pretty big rise. So
But how many people, I would like to know, in that time period are becoming like 14, 15? If there's
Yeah.
that many people, then they're getting
yes,
their first
obviously, like it'd
phones.
be interesting to know the breakdown between each like demographic. Yeah,
Yeah.
like let's say 8 to 12, maybe 12 to 16, 16
I
to
think you
20.
could say like 4 to 8 would even be a demographic that has phones these days.
Yeah, just pop it on the docket there,
Well,
Statman.
one thing that always surprised me is I don't know about you, but when I went out to dinner with my family, even if we went out with like other couple, like other families, is as kids we would just be told you had to chat, like you had to talk to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't matter what age you were, but I feel like now you see people they go out to dinner with their kids and they just give them an iPad or their phone
Oh,
and put on a
man.
YouTube video.
I have witnessed that, and it actually looks pretty depressing.
It is,
And
right?
especially they have like headphones on, so all their senses are just blocked off from what they're actually doing.
And yeah, like I get that you're obviously trying to keep your child entertained, and I'm not a parent, so I will never be able to understand until if I do ever have kids what it's like to have to worry about that. But I also think it's important to still be aware of what's around you and engage.
Yeah, I think you're totally right. Like, I think the increase in technology is definitely like creating worse social skills. How are you meant to like practice communicating? How are you meant to learn? How are you meant to like go up to a girl and get rejected and deal with it? Like, kids these days, they're gonna have no idea.
Could you sound any older? Kids these days.
But like you know, he makes a valid point. So like, I was quite lucky in that. Like, so I have two older sisters. Now, my oldest sister's 5 years older than me. Now, you know, so when I was 12, you know, obviously they're sort of 17, 18, like obviously depending on the friends. That was great to be able to talk to girls who are like 5 years older. Like, that's such a good learning curve, you know. Obviously I was probably shit scared, but like just being able to socially engage. Whereas I feel like people now are kind of so switched off or like desensitized to that it's socially awkward.
Yeah, I think like Tinder's probably doing that to an extent.
Absolutely. You know, it's very like screen value and not actual. It sounds maybe cheesy, but what's on the inside?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then they meet in real life and they can't hold a conversation. It just gets awkward and they just get turned off dating through that app altogether.
Maybe it's not disconnected. Maybe it's desensitized then.
Maybe a combination of the two. So like, I only got like one major stat because I think it's the most important, and that is last year there was 300 million people affected by depression. Now, I'm not saying that all of those were based on social media, but I can guarantee that a good portion of them were at least stemmed from maybe some sort of, we'll say, jealousies, like
Insecurity.
That would be the biggest one, I would say, especially with like the rise of like influencers and Instagram and just your own social profile, we'll say, online.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of social media. I like certain elements of it, but it does create a whole lot of issues with people.
But don't you run a number of pages?
Oh, I run like 5 pages, but that's purely like one of them is sort of almost like not a blog, but like a timeline. But so that I can, it's almost like cloud backup sort of thing. But I don't like when people get obsessed with other people on social media. So there's two sides. It's like you can either post social media for your own benefit or you can be a part of it for other people's benefit. And I think once you get really involved in other people's lives that you don't know, it gets a little bit dangerous.
Agreed. I think like I use my predominant, you know, my two most dominant like apps that I use would be Messenger and Instagram. Not that I'm a big poster in either, but like
Reddit?
Oh, not really.
All right.
Sometimes, definitely like Instagram the most.
Yeah.
But I use it for both. Like, I would say like half entertainment, half education.
Yeah.
Reddit's good for that, actually.
Reddit is great. Look,
Yeah.
I like to lurk Reddit, like just, you know, if I'm, I don't know, laying in bed.
Love to use it with a lurk.
Lurk. I don't know.
Look.
That's
Hello, Reddit.
Creeping on Reddit.
That's really creepy. When the Purge.
Anyone want to play Purge? Yeah.
Spotto.
Reddit edition. But yeah, it's the thing with Reddit is that like I don't know, it can be educational, but I don't know, I don't find myself using it for that most of the time. It's mostly just entertainment.
Of course,
and
like-
just looking at funny shit.
Yeah, most of the like subreddits that I follow are entertainment. Like there'd be, I don't know, Today I Learned is maybe
Yeah.
educational, but not really. It's more entertaining.
Ask Reddit. But that's good in like a social context to like, I don't know, just listen to different people's opinions about stuff or their different experiences. And I don't know, that just makes you really relate to people on Reddit.
Here's a bit of a curveball. Because everything about society is becoming more online, are kids who are almost growing up online then just sort of a byproduct of that? They're learning skills how to deal with people online because in the future those jobs will mostly be communicating online.
Yeah, well, I want to take that a step further and say,
Go for it.
so you're making the same point I wanted to make. I was going to say, like, having mentioned Messenger and how big that is, people will text and stuff. Don't you see that? And this relates to what you were just saying. Like, so many people are scared to make phone calls these days. Some people get mad anxiety when they have to call a stranger or even call someone they know. Like,
And that's why you see a lot of those sites where they have that like added Ask Messenger kind of like chat feature just on the side. Like I had to, I was opening my like bank account, and if you need help, it's got like a little like Ask Messenger and we'll reply in 5 minutes. And you know, you can ask them a question. It's just like a computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I personally had a bit of like anxiety about phone calls, but my old job, I was on the phone like all the time, and so like I've pretty much completely overcome that. And it's just like one of those things that you have to do to get over it, I guess. But I think you'll find like because I was in that situation that I was able to overcome it. As with any situation you're not familiar with, like if you're someone who's 13 and never made a phone call unless maybe they've called their parents in an emergency or something, like what do you do?
Well,
Yeah.
I guess in my office, I work for a tech company. We do all 80% of our communication via what's called Slack, which is kind of like a messaging program as well. That's most of our content is on there, but that's also because it's then easier to reference. So if you go and you see something like, what was he saying? You can go back and actually see it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like if I ever get the chance, like if there's the option to email over calling, I will always favor the email just because I have it as a point of reference and I can see the chain of the conversation and I have the best memory. So I would always prefer to email. But yeah, I mean, I'm still happy to do a phone call. Like at first you're just like, I've got to call them. But then I know initially when you start talking to them, realize they're just another human being. I guess I just sort of get over that little.
We're the last generation
Anxiety.
with landlines, to be fair.
Yeah, that's true.
Actually, on that, it's interesting. Like, how many of you guys have a phone in your house, like a home line?
There is no landline in this house that we're sitting in. I was asked the question and I said, no, I don't want one.
Luke,
No,
Brady.
Nope.
because phone plans are just really good. Yeah, T, do you have one?
I still live with my parents, and they still need one because their reasoning is that their parents and their other family that are older don't necessarily have phones or don't always call mobile phones, so they're still stuck in that cycle.
They can still call a mobile phone from a landline.
No, but I'd say it's more that like people. Let's just say really broad, but like 70 plus, like a good portion of them don't have mobile phones.
Do you know what they should do? They should have their home phone forwarded onto their mobile.
No, but it's more that I think that they don't know how to use mobile phones.
As in like say for example, his grandparents call his parents' home phone, it would get forwarded onto his parents' mobile, and so they wouldn't have to tell them that they changed anything.
Yeah, but their house is set up so that it's not a big issue.
Okay.
So like they've got like 4 or 5 like they're probably closer to a landline at any given moment than their mobile. Like they're not as technologically advanced as us. Let's be fair.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes.
I think
Headline.
savvy is
But-
the politically correct term.
Savvy, yeah. Well, there was an example. Literally tonight, I was at dinner with the parents, and my dad was saying, I was listening to the podcast, and you guys started talking really quickly. I was like, you have the playback on like 2 times speed or something. And he was like, no, I didn't touch anything. I was like, just give me the phone. And lo and behold, he had it on 1.5 times speed. Sorry for the stitch up, Dad. I know you'll hear this.
Just coming back to kids and not being able to make phone calls and stuff like that. I've read something about Gen Alpha, which is the generation of kids at the moment that are using, iPads, like your kid in the bloody restaurant who's just on the iPad, not talking to anyone. They reckon that, when they're adults, a lot of that Gen Alpha will have difficulty in being able to read facial cues. Like, or just in, those sorts of social situations.
Body language is 85% of what you transfer, apparently.
Absolutely. So you might have a whole bunch of kids in that generation who just have a really bad social disorder and they can't read people's faces. Like that's just such a big part of communicating.
That's a really good point. And yeah, I guess we're like on the cusp of seeing where that goes. I don't think there's any live research on how can you research that? You have to like literally track kids from birth to like, God knows, 15 years old. Like, there might be a gigantic research project happening. Who knows?
Yeah.
But
I think Cardinal Pell was.
oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, not the same thing.
Too soon?
He was tracking kids.
Michael
right?
Jackson was the original, I think.
Wow, he's a
So you can't wow.
innovator.
You can't wow
He's
that.
an innovator, really.
You were...
Me of all people, what are you implying?
You started the original joke.
Brady, you're a goddamn savage.
I thought you were implying something there. I was like, I'm barely Catholic, so don't even.
My point was, like, I see all my cousins and stuff, like, just on iPads. Like, we have this one cousin, he's probably like 12 now. And he just, for the last 7 years, I don't think he's left, been within like more than 10 meters of his laptop. Just
But
playing Minecraft.
And they're just happy doing that. And
Yeah.
I don't know. It's you can't show them how good not being on the laptop is because it actually is a lot to them.
Well, they don't, yeah, exactly. And they don't want to be. It's like, well,
Yeah.
his older brothers are like 5 years older than him, played soccer and stuff, but he's not interested.
Humans are like, animals of habit or creatures of habit, as they say. So if you've been brought up playing games like this, I'm sure the generation before us said we're just as disconnected as the next. And so on.
Absolutely. And like, obviously because we sort of had a mix of both is like we have a good perspective on it all because we know what it's like to go with and without. So that's the way I kind of look at it. And like, you know, we can shit on, you know, social media and tech as much as we want, but there's also like a real big upside to it as all.
Yeah, it's huge. Learning, for example, kids have access to so many more resources to learn whenever they want.
Imagine just having to Google something when you were younger, like how useful that would have been for so many situations.
The funniest thing was being a kid, and I'm sure we all got this. You're not going to have a calculator with you at all times, so you need to know how to do this. And well, actually, I do.
Literally 2 clicks away.
Yeah. If I don't understand how to do it, Google. Done.
Well, I'm glad I was brought up with that because, yeah, you can't always rely
You can't. No.
on, yeah.
But I do.
Look, I'm not good at math. Like,
Yeah.
It's all right, fine. I'm insecure about it.
Yeah, I'm terrible. Was it math or maths?
Maths.
Is that what we landed on?
Yeah.
What the Americans call
No,
math?
no. That's the correct. That's not what we land on. That's the correct.
Sure?
Somebody Google that.
I feel like we landed on
We
that.
don't need the stat man to check this. Let's just go.
Statman's already onto this. Americans say math.
Math, yeah, which is
Aussies
wrong.
and I think
And
in the
Brits.
UK,
So do
they
Americans say
maths.
mathematic instead of mathematics?
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's maths because it's mathematics.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
There's more than one. No, it's not a plural.
No, I've
obviously.
got math class.
I just think of Math Circus.
Math circus.
Remember
yeah.
the game we played as a kid?
Yeah,
That is
yeah,
a great
yeah.
example, actually, of how we learnt using software as kids. And now kids are learning the exact same things in much more complex detail.
Well, on that note, what else are we going to learn tonight? Who's up next?
Well, from social media to social smoking, we're going to talk about social smoking. And hey, come on, give me a high five for that segue. Haven't been on it lately, but
I would, but we're at risk of knocking the cameras.
yeah, good idea.
We're back, baby.
And
we did.
And yes,
But we're all good.
this is a non-contact podcast. Okay.
T just fucking.
Remember
face
you hit
palm.
me in the head the other week with your boot.
Yeah.
I may have broke the rules. Okay?
All right, so I am willing to admit that I am a social smoker. I just can't help when I have a couple of pints in me that I just need a bloody dart. It feels too
I
good.
need a bloody
dart.
For our international listeners.
Looks like smoke darts break hearts.
Pretty much. Now, Sean and Brett, are you guys willing to admit you're social smokers at all?
I'm not. So
yeah, I'm not a social smoker.
Yeah, Brady, I remember you used to be
I used to be an unsocial
an
smoker.
unsocial smoker, and an actual smoker.
It sounds really weird when you put it like that, doesn't it?
Anti-social smoker.
Yeah, I was antisocial and I smoked, yeah.
Like, I imagine like unsocial smoker just sitting in the dark with like this. All you see is this red like.
Leave me
just
alone.
like a saxophone going.
Leave me be. Apparently you're French.
You're French, yeah.
Yes, I need to figure that.
Brady, just give us a rundown on that whole experience of being not a social smoker, an actual smoker, and getting off of it.
I actually loved it, which was probably a weird thing that you don't hear people saying. It is a vice that everybody has, but I mean, I know it's a dirty habit, but so is, overeating and all kinds of things that are bad vices. That was just one that I had. I enjoyed it while I did it, and then it was almost a natural progression that I just smoked less and less. And actually, when I moved back to Australia, it was so expensive to buy cigarettes. That was actually one of the reasons that I stopped, because it was so expensive.
Yeah, probably about $35 a packet.
Man, I genuinely don't know how people like. There's people who are like, oh yeah, I smoke a packet a day.
Yeah.
Like that's like $250 a week.
Yeah.
It's
That's
insane.
fucking rent, man.
It's
Like,
crazy. And people are still willing to do it regardless of the price.
And there's people who smoke even more than that. Like
Yeah.
that blows my
2
mind.
packs a day, like,
Yeah, I always
insane.
just think of how many hours you have to work to like earn that.
Yeah, that's it. So I had this idea that, I'm only a social smoker and I feel like I'm safe from any sort of cancer or, stuff like that.
Of course you're not.
Which is a terrible thing to assume.
It's like that typical like early 20s. I'm invincible. Like
Pretty much. But, in the end, it doesn't matter how much you smoke. You're still exposing yourself to getting cancer. So thanks to Professor David Curnow of the Cancer Institute in New South Wales, we can find out, because I didn't actually know how smoking causes cancer. Just yes or no?
Carcinogens?
Do any of you guys just have an idea?
like
Yeah, yes or-
physiology.
yes or no?
No.
It
Like,
No?
mutates.
Yeah, yes or no?
cells. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
it's like cool or not cool, but yes or no. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
Sean?
I'm going to say, well, I can't give a vague answer, so I'll say no because I just don't understand.
Yeah,
I don't
cool.
know the
Well,
exact.
That's why I just
Educate
wanted
us.
yes or no, because Brady pretty much just said it already, but whatever.
Yes.
So yeah, what it is smoking mutilates and damages.
Mutilates.
Mutates.
I mean, I guess it does like fuck them up.
Mutates, my bad. Smoking mutates and damages DNA in cells, and it's the genes in this DNA that protects you against cancer. So once you mutate them, that's when cancer cells start to emerge. And it's not necessarily about the quantity of these mutations, it's whether you have the right combination of mutated cells. So, that's where someone who is a 2-pack-a-day smoker is still living at 75, being a 2-pack-a-day smoker. Yeah, they've had all these mutated cells in their DNA, but it doesn't matter because they're still living. And then you have a social smoker that probably got a bit unlucky and had that right combination for cancer cells to emerge by smoking.
Yeah, because you always hear those things about like those people who are like, oh yeah, smoked right up till my deathbed, smoked 2 packs a day. I was
Yeah.
95. Basically like
No regrets.
Yeah, like died with a dart in my mouth, kind of like. And then you have those people who are like, oh yeah, I smoked like 1 cigarette
Or
once,
like
and-
a marathon runner or something.
yeah, he just looked at a cigarette and he got cancer. Like,
That's it. So my parents were smokers. I think my mum is still has a cigarette every now and then, not as much as she used to. My uncle, I think, still smokes as well. And, we've never had any sort of scare with cancer or anything in our family. So in my opinion, I just still think I'm sort of safe from that looking at
Oh, you're
my
G,
parents.
buddy. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Smoke up.
This is just but these are the excuses I'm giving myself. I'm not proud to be a social smoker or anything like that. But
it's an easy cop out.
Yeah.
To look at it. Yeah.
if I can look at my parents and think, oh, well, they're still good. Why can't I still be
A
good?
gambler would say statistically, if none of them have it, then you are more likely to get it.
Why is that?
Because 1 in 3 people get cancer. If the 25 people in your family have not got cancer, therefore the odds of you getting cancer are so much higher.
But that's comparing him to them. If you compare him to a family of people who have a history of cancer, then his odds probably.
The sample size is his family,
Okay.
not randoms that have had cancer.
Yeah,
a
you're-
good gambler wouldn't say that though, because he knows that the odds of him getting
100%.
the odds of him getting whatever don't
still 1 in
change
3.
dependent on
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, I made the 1 in 3 up. I was just
saying.
rattling. I know it's really high though for people to get cancer.
Yeah.
Super high. Yeah.
But I just think, I tell myself these things because maybe in myself I know that I can't give up social smoking, and maybe I should be a bit more proactive by that. And
Of course you can give it up.
yeah, of course I can give it up. But, if
Do you
I'm
want to?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know. If I'm 3 pints deep, so I'm a bit affected by alcohol, and a guy next to, one of my friends says, "Oh, do you
a
want
guy.
a cigarette?" While I'm under the
buddy.
influence.
You want a cigarette?
You want a cigarette?
He's Spanish now.
Saxophone's back. That was my attempt. But if he says that and I'm under the influence of alcohol, I'm just like, yeah, sure, man, yeah, fuck it. And
no one's got cancer in my family. Like,
I'm good to go.
yeah, right. I'm just a social smoker. Yeah, so there's that. In my maybe one day I'll try and quit and not keep doing that while I'm drinking. But social smoking also exists in my life, not just with cigarettes, but also I like to enjoy shisha. I think I've mentioned this on the podcast
Yeah,
before.
Taroff, one of the best ever subjects that we've had on now.
What did I mention shisha during that topic?
Yeah, that's how it started. The Taroff.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, and the fact of the matter is, shisha, 1 hour of smoking shisha is equivalent to 50 to 100 cigarettes.
is it really?
It
That's
is.
Yeah,
crazy.
you're basically sucking on the end of a diesel car.
Yeah,
That's right.
One hell allergy.
Diesel's environmentally friendly at
Is
least.
it? Well, you're
No, it
sucking on
smells
the
like
back.
shit.
Yeah, unleaded 91.
Yeah, fuck that.
Just filling yourself up with unleaded. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and not only that, but on unrelated note, that you're also sharing the shisha pipe, which is transferring germs.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Because that's the main concern when you're
It's not the 50.
smoking 100 cigarettes.
if they've got like hepatitis B or
I mean, that's a terrible
Yeah.
night out. You're 100 darts and hepatitis.
Or a great night. Depends on your perspective. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and but shisha is all about the social element. I wouldn't just have a thing by myself and heat up some shisha and just like cook it in my living room, you know, because
What about your vape pen?
yes, so I was just about to get to that. So not only do I enjoy shishaing socially, but I also enjoy vaping socially. I don't. It's more when I'm like at home. But I do enjoy vaping just like in my living room while I'm doing something. I haven't actually cranked my vape in a cranked that. I haven't cranked that vape in a while.
So far, we've had lurk,
Crank
crank
with a K.
Mutilate.
With a K.
But
Purge.
are you still actually a vapist?
He's a full-blown vapist.
So
It's
bad.
another throwback to season 1. Just saying. For those who've just joined us.
Thank you.
Watch that episode. Oh, listen. Sorry.
I enjoy vaping in my living room, and I enjoy that because like it doesn't smell. It smells really good actually. So I don't mind that.
What's the best flavor you ever had?
The best is when you mix flavors. So you do like chocolate with wild berry or some shit.
I really like the Coke one.
Yeah, Coke one's actually pretty good too.
Whenever I've like had a try of your vape, like it's pretty good. I admit, like I do enjoy it. Like I like the taste, like the smell or whatever. But like the only thing that puts me off is that the chemicals are so bad for you. Like I'd be a proud vapist,
Yeah.
if
vape
the
activist.
chemicals weren't bad for you. But unfortunately, I'm not.
Well, the thing is, I've
Just so proud about being a vapor.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Vapist.
Okay, sorry.
I've had like vapes and stuff before, but the only thing is, I never actually noticed the same effect as having a cigarette. You know what I mean? Like if I have a cigarette, if I'm really, really stressed or something, I just feel like
Yeah.
a cigarette. I feel the calm going through me, the nicotine.
Yeah, well, because there's none of the tar or whatever that it really increases your heart rate. I assume.
Maybe you just need like a higher nicotine dosage or something.
Yeah.
But I never felt that.
Fair enough. Maybe you're
That.
just not. You didn't have a high nicotine content in the vape
Maybe.
oil because they come in different levels. But there's also coming back to Sean because you didn't like the chemicals in vaping. Is that right?
When I looked into it, just saw like how bad for you the chemicals are.
Yeah. So there's one chemical called formaldehyde,
Yeah.
which is a cancer-causing chemical after long-term exposure. So
Wait, that's in like vapes or cigarettes?
that's in like when the oil gets turned into vapor,
Oh, okay, yeah, gotcha.
produces that chemical. Which, yeah, again, I tell myself, vaping's like it's all right to vape because it's not like cigarettes. It's a much more better way to enjoy smoking.
Well, it's advertised as being like safe, like
Yeah,
a good
or
alternative.
just a replacement.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like trying to wean off cigarettes, but really, it's the same thing. Like it's still harmful. Anything where you're inhaling into your lungs, not oxygen, is harmful for your lungs.
I mean, if there's smoke coming out of you, that's probably not a good thing.
Yeah, that's right. I just wanted to finish on this point though, and this is actually gonna, start a bit of a argument here. Maybe. Who knows?
Fuck you, Luke.
Whack.
So now, apologies for pronouncing this name. Trolls Ostby, Truls. How do you spell that? How do you say that name?
Troll?
Depends where he's from.
Trolls.
Trolls?
Do you know where he's from?
No. Nope. Sorry.
O'Doyle Trules.
Oh my God.
And Donald
So we're-
Taylor. Oh, that's a great name there. Can pronounce that one. Of the Duke University School of Medicine, analyzed 21,000 Americans 50 and older and found those who stopped smoking at 35 were able to regain their health to the same level as people who never smoked.
So basically,
Wow.
smoke all you want until you're 35 and then stop.
That is a rule that some people live by. That they'll smoke till they're 35 and then they'll stop because it's
7
fine.
years
They
later.
You can
still-
regen, yeah.
Yeah.
Regen.
Regen. Now, Sean, what do you think about that? Do you think that you could start smoking for another, or start now and start smoking for another 7 years, 8 years?
But he could
Me
start
personally?
smoking and get cancer
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the
He
stats
could.
don't lie.
Yeah.
I could regenerate, apparently.
But like, okay, look, take the negative action of like smoking and replace with anything that's bad, right? Let's say like overeating. Okay,
Yeah.
so like same premise. You could overeat till you're 35 and be like, let's say, heavily obese.
Yeah.
And then just lose all the weight.
That's a good point.
Like it's kind of like any vice. You can do it to a certain point, and like obviously depending on the vice,
Yeah.
you can reverse it.
Probably not shooting up heroin or something.
But you can.
yeah,
Why
well,
not?
I-
As long as you
I-
don't.
so
as long as you don't die. What?
I think it burns out your.
Obviously, you're
your
going to have some.
big
You know, you'll
time.
probably have some side effects. But like,
Props.
Well, I think the
personally, I've never done heroin, so
the dosage of dopamine in heroin is probably a hell of a lot higher than that in a cigarette, which means it would be a lot more
I
difficult
mean,
to
but
break.
compare heroin to shisha. I mean,
Yeah,
apples and oranges.
they're the same. essentially.
much.
50 cigarettes. I think heroin's like 35 cigarettes.
Yeah,
so-
it equals one cigarette. Yeah.
But, you know, here I am trying to look for excuses. Here I am like, you know, I'm only a social smoker. I only like to have shisha if I'm in a, you know, I'm just with friends. It tastes nice. I only like vaping because it's not as bad as cigarettes. Here I am like trying to make up all these excuses for smoking. And here is probably the most ultimate excuse of them all. As long as you stop smoking by 35, you can still have a long life as the same as people that don't smoke.
I think one of the things.
Am I crazy?
Yes.
No.
I don't think so. I think the main thing that is overlooked here is you know the risks, and if it's something that you enjoy, then you are fully entitled to doing that.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't. Nobody should feel guilty for knowing risks and still choosing to do what they enjoy.
as long as it's only hurting yourself, we'll say like.
Yeah.
I'm putting it in my calendar now.
2000
December 30, 2030.
and 27 this year.
That's some great
Yeah,
math.
whatever. Luke's intervention.
Yeah, what industry do you work in there, Sean?
Doesn't matter.
Do you need
A
maths?
calculator. Maybe if only I had a calculator at all times. Anyway, on the topic of jobs.
Oh, here we go.
Excellent. I have a quote from Steve Jobs.
Oh,
Oh,
But my topic is literally about jobs.
Fantastic.
So I might start with the quote from Steve Jobs now that I've mentioned it. I've got it like halfway down my running sheet, but I'll just kick it off. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. So what does that mean? It means essentially, the only way you'll be good at your job or do good work is if you're happy with where you're working. Does this ring true to you guys?
yeah. I always think of that expression. It's like if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life.
Absolutely. I have just gone back to university because I want to do a job that I love doing rather than maybe when I wasn't as educated doing something just for the hell of it.
Yeah, okay. Brady?
yeah, I agree. I've started a job recently and I enjoy it. And going to work, the main thing that I've noticed is going to work is not a hassle for me anymore. I used to wake up and be like, oh, I have to go to work, do another day. All right, just get through it. Now I wake up and I'm like, I have to go to work. Cool. Not a problem.
So my topic is the follow your dreams sort of idea a cliche, or is it something we should do? And then Brady, I want to start with you because you're, I guess, newest to the workforce. When you were a kid, what you do now, working in tech, could not possibly have been your dream job.
No, I had bizarre dream jobs. When I was like 10, I wanted to be a lawyer and I had no idea what lawyers even did. So, yeah.
So way too many episodes of Law and Order. Just,
I actually had that as well. I wanted to be a lawyer when I was a kid. I was like, what does a lawyer do?
yeah, but, everybody seems to respect them. I want to be one of those.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, what was the question again?
Well, what was your dream job?
Oh, my dream
is
job.
what you're doing now your dream job? Can you see yourself doing something different? Would you ever consider quitting to do something else?
See, that's the thing. This is a good point. I used to work, this is going to sound bad. I used to work with like younger people, being in retail. A lot of the people who are in the workforce are like between, I'd say 16 and early 20s. They do it while they study, so forth. I used to tell them because of what I did, you don't need to go out of high school and immediately into a job. I didn't know what I wanted to do in high school. So me going straight into university, I would have been wasting my time and my money doing something that maybe I liked. So I, over time, discovered what I liked. I didn't know what I liked when I was 12. I didn't know what I liked when I was 20. It took me until maybe 24, 25 to realize I liked design and I liked technology. And then I was like, well, I should do something with those two fields. And so I did. And so I think if you can figure out what you actually enjoy, and here's the thing, it's not about, in my opinion, it's not about doing the job that you love, because some people will do a job that they love and it ruins that for them. It ruins the experience of what that job is about. And then it becomes like, it becomes a job. It doesn't become what you actually enjoy doing. Same thing with like, you speak to, well, not me personally, but I'm sure a lot of musicians would say, I love making music and things like that. And then 10, 15 years later, like, it's my job. Like I do it, but it's my job now.
Yeah, I've heard similar things, especially people that like producers that make music for other people, or they're simply just producing for other people, and they're not necessarily loving the music, but it's a job to them and it's paying them, so they do it.
Studio musicians and
Yeah,
things.
yeah, and it's something that pays the bills, but like it's like a watered down joy of it because they're not really getting anything artistically gained out of doing it. They just do it because it's just a way to make money in their field.
So that's the thing. In my opinion, find what you enjoy, not what you love, but what you enjoy and what you're actually good at. So if you can do something that you don't mind, you like, and you're actually good at it, that will get you so much further because actually seeing tangible success is the thing that is going to give you that drive to continue going.
Yeah, I agree with that entirely. And that was essentially why I actually wanted to do this topic. So my point of view is if you are good at something and you pursue what you're good at, then you will eventually love that. And that might become your passion because it comes natural to you. You succeed at it because you accelerate in that field, for example. So like I was always good at maths. Did I necessarily want to be...
Sorry, math.
Clearly, you're not good at grammar. That's why you're not a writer, despite trying to be one back
so
in
bad.
your early 20s.
So bad.
Anyway, that was a personal dig, and I do not regret it.
Yeah, no. I actually did a lot of writing. I don't mind it. It's not
No,
bad.
your writing was pretty good, I'll admit. I did enjoy reading the stuff you wrote. But yeah, no. So if you can get a career out of what you're good at, then that you'll naturally be drawn to it. And so it might not... when I was growing up, I didn't necessarily want to be an engineer. I wanted to be like a footy player or something. But, that's not realistic. It's not a realistic dream. You can't always live your dreams. So I wound up doing what I was good at, and that eventually became something I enjoyed. So Brett and Luke, you guys in particular, I would say doing something you love. But you guys also happen to be very good at what you do. Like Brett, you're very athletic. Luke, you're an excellent musician. That's why you're going back to uni to study. Did you guys feel like it was a tough decision to stop what you were doing and then trying to move into something that was more about your passion?
I'll go first. I had a really weird, experience after school because I ended up working in fitness and sport, and I just kind of branched under the whole umbrella. But obviously, I hurt my knee at the end of high school, and that really sort of put a damper on my love for what I love, And so I kind of lost touch with my own passions, and so because of that, I pursued something at uni that I wasn't interested in, but I thought that I might fall in love with. So I did a couple of years of psychology.
Oh, cool.
Which was really interesting, and I learned a lot about myself. But I was just kind of going through the motions, and I wasted a number of years. And when I talk to people who are we'll say 16, 17, I always tell them don't rush into what you want to do. Honestly, go after what you love, because I work in, I think it was literally listed as the lowest income industry, but I love my job. And I'm good at my job, and I get to help people, and I know they trust me, and they get results, and that makes me feel good, that they feel good. But obviously after I did psychology and stuff, I kind of fucked around. I was maybe interested in doing a trade, but I was too old to do a mature trade. And I didn't really know. And I talked to my partner, and she's like, look, I started to get back into sport. And she's like, why don't you pursue what you love? Why don't you go after something sport related? And yeah, that's sort of how I sort of found what I'm into now. So yeah, I obviously was a little bit like you, Brady. I kind of fluffed around a little bit. And then I just kind of finally landed on my feet, I suppose.
So what were you asking, Sean? It was...
So it's obviously a very brave decision to quit what you were doing. You went out and got a degree.
Yeah.
And you pursued a career in that, and it didn't eventuate. So you decided to start again, and that's a huge thing to do.
It is.
Do you regret doing that? Are you happy you're doing that? How do you feel like things are going?
Yeah, I don't regret it whatsoever because, yes, I've wasted time and money getting that degree and I'm not going to use it, and that's a bit sad. But you got to think a university from another point of view, and it's not so much a learning process of a career you might get into. It's also a learning process of how to be better socially, how to show yourself in front of other people in a better manner than what you were before. And I don't know, I feel like I grew a lot at university just by interacting with people and learning stuff there. And the fact that I won't use it sucks, but I'm not trying to think about that in an optimistic sense. I learned so much at university that made me the person I am today, and I'm happy being the person I am today.
It also made you realize that you didn't want to potentially do that.
Yeah, after doing the whole thing.
Do you know what really annoys me is people studying and then pursuing a career even though they know they don't like it because they studied it. They go, I spent 4 years doing it, so this is my career. Well, that's depressing.
Yeah, it is. It's never too late to change. And at the moment, my living situation, I'm still saving up for holidays and stuff, and living very comfortably. And I'm not working full time. I'm working casually, and I'm still like happy in my life. It's not like I'm suffering or anything. I'm not on like what's it called?
Welfare?
Yeah, I'm not on welfare or anything like that. I'm living pretty well. So if people are scared of that change when they when they want to change a career or something, don't be. I don't have any assets or anything like that, so that's probably a determining factor for a lot of people. But yeah, as long as you sort of get to a point where you're just like, what, this needs to change, you got to make it happen.
One thing that you can say about that is it's cultural as well. Because imagine if you were trying to do what we do. We are lucky to live in a country like this that actually, I was getting what's called Austudy, so money from the government when you study to support you. Imagine living in a country that you don't get that, and so you have to take almost what you can get.
Yeah.
That in those situations is completely different. Don't follow your dreams. Survive. Literally.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
But I think it's also important that sometimes, you have to fluff around for a few years to find like your rhythm.
Yeah.
I didn't get straight into music teaching because I found myself to be too immature. Like, I couldn't teach a class of kids when I myself was still a kid and still, like, I don't know, I didn't believe in myself to do that. So and then it's funny. It just was like, now I'm ready. Now I want to do it.
Yeah, I'd agree. Like, I think even myself, like, I've been in my current job like just under 2 years, and like I think I've come leaps and bounds both in like my own career, but also like as a person. Like, I've certainly matured a lot, I would think, in 2 years. I think it's weird. I think how you grow up when you find your groove.
Yeah, definitely.
So our stat man, Mike, we didn't discuss this previously, but you probably did the biggest, maybe not the biggest, the biggest current U-turn of what you studied versus what you do. So for context, you studied physics, you have a degree in physics, you wanted to potentially be an astrophysicist, working for NASA or whatever, and now you're climbing through pressure vessels and in submarines, checking welds and doing inspection work. You took a massive U-turn. Do you enjoy what you do? And do you think that this is becoming something you love because you're good at it?
I wouldn't say, at least at the moment, I don't love the work. I definitely like it. I enjoy it. And that's definitely helped by the people there. And it might be something to do with the company that I'm in as well. It's quite small, so there's a lot of room to grow and create my own content and really make changes to the company in some sort of meaningful way. Whereas in a big company with a lot of structure and there's a lot of things in the way for you to be able to do your own thing. But I can be quite creative, and I get it's quite rewarding in that sense. So I can still move quite freely. So I think that definitely helps.
So it helps being a big fish in a small pond, essentially.
I think so, at least at the moment. And you never know what might happen, with my future. I might go back into physics or something like that. But at the moment, it is hard to escape the money when you realize that going into academia doesn't promise that.
Ah, yes. So that's actually a very big factor as well, and something that we haven't touched on, but it's hugely important. So money. A lot of people find themselves in a dilemma where they're in a really high-paying job, but they hate it. So a good example might be an accountant or something. I don't know what they earn, but it's just like the classic boring job. And if you work for a big enough company, you're going to be earning decent money. So, someone like an accountant might find themselves staying in a job but being like super depressed potentially, like if they're not enjoying just like crunching numbers all day and like doing tax returns and things like that. So do you guys ever find, was there a dilemma for you guys potentially, wanting to, or having a way out? Well, Brett, you said yourself, you're in the lowest earning industry.
Yeah, so I guess I was on the like sort of opposite to the accountant in that I was obviously worried going into it that maybe I wouldn't make enough.
Yeah.
Like my partner obviously has like a fairly like high paying job, so it kind of balances out. But obviously if I was on my own, like I wouldn't be struggling, but I'd be on the lower end of the financial chain.
But it's something you considered. You knew this going in. But
Yeah, look, I thought about it. Being like in my early 20s, my future like aspirations, obviously things like, own a house or just, have some sort of asset. I always just knew like if I was to get that down the line, it might just take a little bit longer.
Yeah, but as with any industry, like you can make it high earning.
Of course,
Obviously,
if you grind, if you work fucking hard and you put in the time and like you learn and you have good mentors or whatever it is, like you will grow and you will prosper.
now it's probably better than ever to be in the fitness industry.
Yeah, like I mean,
You need to show your ass on Instagram more.
Yeah,
absolutely. Like
get the pants off, Brad. Get it off now. Start a sneak preview.
Go on.
Just
Okay.
follow.
acid test about to blow up. Like,
Oh, you actually gonna do it?
no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm
no.
not gonna strip tease on the pod.
I think on that note, maybe we should move on to cool or not cool.
Oh, we have no mailbag this week.
No, we don't.
Actually,
Do we do?
Oof.
Mate, you meant to tell us.
Hang on. Let me get the song. You're listening to the mailbag.
all right. Let me just let me find this. This was sent in from Anonymous.
Oh,
All right. Onto which platform? You should tell us where they can hit us up.
It's not anonymous at all. It's actually one of our friends.
Ah.
All right. So
At the Acid Test Pod, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube.
he sent us this email at theacidtestpod@gmail.com,
Thank you very much.
and it didn't go through.
Yeah, right.
Apparently, he sent it a while ago, and it must have got lost in translation or in the trash.
Because he's too old. He didn't grow up with social media.
Yeah. Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
Should have just sent us an Instagram message at the Acid Test Pod.
All right. So that's the mailbag.
Done. No, it's not. All right, so it goes. I haven't. I read over this once, so forgive me if there's anything in here that's not great. Okay, so it says, "Boyos, want your thoughts on this." So my girlfriend went to a group job interview, and as they do, had everyone do the awkward icebreakers in their groups, i.e., tell everyone a bit about yourself. And one girl in my girlfriend's group claimed that she was a social media influencer. This is tying in very well this week.
Yeah,
So
wow.
this is probably when we talked about awkward social interactions.
Potentially, yeah. Now, my girlfriend was immediately taken back by how everyone in the group was genuinely intrigued and somewhat starstruck by this girl's social influencer role, whereas my girlfriend's flog alarm went off in her head and couldn't help but cringe at this girl discussing her internet career. Keeping in mind these girls in her group were all quite young, under 20 roughly, and my girlfriend's 25. Now, exclamation mark. What's your boyo's thoughts on the social media influencers' role and impact they have on society today? Should we take these people seriously? And also, why the younger generation seems so immersed by these sorts of people compared to me and my girlfriend who are 25? I would assume the majority of people our age or older would find it perplexing. Love, your biggest fanboy.
Ah,
Well,
thank you, fanboy.
Cheers to them for emailing in.
With a good question, too.
It was a great question.
Well, first off, I just think that younger people just sort of look up to them in a different way to how we do. We can sort of see behind their
Bullshit.
the bullshit, pretty much. Yeah, we can see that they're not all amazing people, but maybe young people don't really have a grasp on that because
They lack social skills.
they
Ooh.
do. Yeah.
That was beautiful.
What do you guys reckon?
Yeah, this is actually a topic that we've mentioned that we were going to do several times and haven't just got around to it yet. So it's like really apt that we're touching on it now. I think that, I don't understand it either. I'm not a fan of influencers being so influential. Like, I don't see how it's healthy to the public. People just, whilst it's good for people to idolize just everyday people, it becomes a point where these people are no longer everyday people and they become fake and materialize, and they are not forced to do anything. They're just like, they get paid off to do things. They sell out essentially, I guess.
They have to be, in my opinion, an influencer for a reason. They have to actually have a skill or something that sets them above other people. It can't just be, I'm on holiday, look at this, and now I'm an influencer.
Yeah, but their skill is being hot.
Yeah, that's ridiculous to me.
Yeah, they just won the gene pool, the gene lottery.
Yeah, so they can smoke as many darts as they want.
Up until they're 35.
Yeah, and stop.
But yeah, so when it comes to the age thing and as to why younger people might be influenced more, maybe it is that social disconnect, bringing it back. Maybe it is because they don't see everyday people so much.
Yeah.
So they just think, wow, this person is really good at doing squats and they have like 1 million followers.
You've been looking at my page again?
Which one? 1 of 5? Like,
Number 3.
I don't know. That's the first thing that came in my head because we were talking about fitness before. So, and fitness influencing is huge.
Another reason it could be idolized is like if it's people under 20s, they've pretty much grown up with, we'll say, social media. Instagram has been rife for the last, I don't know, when did Instagram come out?
2011?
Oh, okay.
10,
yeah,
maybe?
okay, we'll say then roughly. So what are we in? 9 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like people who are under 20, like if you've got, let's say, 1 million followers and you're just under 20, you're one of very few who have made it amongst a massive sea of people who are trying to make it. So like,
You're technically a pop star.
exactly, like, you know, you're viewed as like one of those few out of, you know, millions that has like just risen above everyone who's at like a real.
I'm all for that if they did it for a reason. That's not just here's my ass. You know what I
Or
mean?
here's my pecs, like,
Oof,
you know, like,
I mean-
you know.
That's a different story.
Yeah. Great question, though. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's a topic that we'll actually delve into in more detail.
Yeah.
hopefully. Potentially this season or next season. That's something that
Yeah, the good and bad of influencing.
Yeah.
There you go. Cool or not cool?
Let's do it.
Cool or not cool?
Skip it a papa doo. Ow. Skip it a papa doo. Ow. Every week. Alrighty, let's jump straight in. Number 1, going to Luke, herbal medicine.
Not cool. Just take normal medicine.
Yeah, I'm going to give that a not cool, take normal medicine as well.
Yeah, not cool. Never done it.
Oh, yeah, I think it's a bit shammy.
Yeah.
It seems like a scam to me.
Seems
but
like a detox tea. Like,
Herbalife.
yeah.
All right, number 2, Portuguese chicken.
Oh, cool. I just went to
But it's
charcoal.
hot.
What?
Is it cool or hot?
Jesus.
Brady, you're out.
Wow.
Yeah, Brady,
Well
cool
done.
or not cool? Not cool.
Yeah, I went to Charcoal Chicken last Friday. It's amazing bloody chicken joint. Shout out to Charcoal Chicken. And got a Portuguese chicken from there, and it was fantastic. Especially the ones you can get at like Coles and Woolies as well. They'd just blow my mind.
Did you eat the whole chicken on your own?
No, half.
Half.
Yeah.
Not bad. Yeah. Yeah, cool. Portuguese chicken is cool. I don't need to say anymore.
Yeah, it's a strong cool. Yeah.
Hard cool. It's
Oh,
hard. Oh, so hard.
hard. Yeah.
Hard cool. So number 3, Cirque du Soleil.
I'm gonna say not cool. Just
Have you ever been?
Yeah, I have been. I've seen like 1 or 2 or so. And I mean, yeah, it's like great theatrics and all that. But
No
just-
Portuguese chicken. though.
It's no Portuguese chicken. It's not my thing. Not cool.
I'm going to say, having never been, I'm going to say cool because the amount of skill and precision to like pull off what they do is, yeah, on another level.
Yep. Super cool. I haven't been. Would love to go. Apparently, it's unreal.
Yeah, I went to one last year and cool as fuck.
Yeah.
There's a whole theme behind it. It's actually like really entertaining, engaging.
If it wasn't so expensive, I would probably go.
It's not as bad as you think. I think it's around $100 a ticket.
Oh,
Which is not crazy.
Oh, next time, catch us there.
Number 4. Well, I wrote. Actually, I don't even know what I mean by this. Professional dartists. People who are I wrote dartists.
Darters.
Not people who smoke cigarettes professionly
Yeah.
until
Who smash
35.
Professional
darts.
dart players.
Yeah, no, what do you call them? I'm saying dartists.
Cool, because 190. If you've ever watched darts before, no. Okay, well, every time they hit like triple 20, that's 60. 3 darts, 180, and the announcer. There's just this one announcer that always goes 180. Like it's this big thing, and everyone cheers and shit.
Always blows my mind that the bullseye isn't actually the best thing on the board.
Yeah, no. Even if it's 10 points less.
Crazy.
No, 30 points less.
35 points less. Isn't
yeah.
it the dart's 25?
No, it's
the
50
dart-
if you hit a bullseye. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, it's 50, is it?
I think so.
Okay, so it's 10 points less.
Yeah, I obviously don't know maths.
No, I don't know darts.
You
I don't know
guys
dart.
should hang out after this, teach each other darts and maths.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Professional dartists are. I so want to say not cool, but like they're low key, like pretty cool.
They're rock stars, man.
Yeah, exactly. That's why they're like low key cool. They're like
Yeah.
hell fat and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, okay, so real cool. Yeah, dartists are real cool. When we were in Europe, me, Luke, and T, they were doing the world champs of like darts everywhere. Everywhere we went across Europe, they were playing in every pub. So like we actually ended up sort of semi-following it, and like we ended up watching the final at some bar just in some random country, and like all they do is they just walk up and they just all hit the exact same point until
Yeah.
just one person misses a dart.
Yeah.
And there's people who come and cheer.
Yeah.
There's full-time dart supporters.
They do like a whole tour for like, you know, like a tennis tour or a PGA tour. There's a dart tour, and it's more focused around drinking. I think like the ones in Ireland are actually pretty big. But yeah, you pay like $100 a ticket, and I'm pretty sure you get like a fair amount of booze and
Imagine all the Portuguese chicken you could get for that.
yeah, crazy, right?
Price is comparable
about
to
it.
Cirque du Soleil.
The whole experience.
Dude, pass me your phone, please. You gotta get this on the phone.
Yeah,
Like, who's
dude.
this guy?
That's
That's a photo of the highest earning professional dart player in the world.
Here, we gotta get
Look at
this
the
on phone.
concentration.
Yeah. So Sean,
Whose camera's live? Put it on.
Yours is. Old mate, highest earning by far.
how much?
Yeah.
You'd have to click back. I don't remember the figure.
But he's got a lot of sponsors on his shirt.
don't know
They
how to
get
use the
highly
phone.
I
sponsored.
think he's got more points than
Oh,
IQ.
yeah.
But credit to whoever the person that is running like the promotion for the sport of darts, because they have done an amazing job.
Dart influencer.
Dart influencer, yeah.
I'm gonna say not cool, but I never followed it. It just seems a little bit lad culture, you know. For me.
Yeah, I get that. I get that vibe.
T, what's his prize money?
1.6 million pounds.
Yeah, that's cool
He's
as
got
fuck.
almost double second place.
Guy's a
He's
god.
29.
Wow.
And
He's 20.
He looks about 59.
Jeez, he should stop smoking
I mean,
cigarettes.
if you practice darts like all day in a bar, like you would probably look
I wanna
like
see that.
If you've earned, if you've earned 1.6 million pounds prize money, you're going through like a few packs of darts. Like,
He spent that much on pints. Like.
yeah, he puts the win in Winfield, that's for sure.
Oh, jeez. That takes us into the last one, which this guy probably loves a couple of slices of carrot cake.
Carrot cake,
Cool. I love carrot cake.
not cool. Vegetables don't belong in cake.
Oh, you can hardly taste it.
Vegetables don't belong in cakes. Next,
Yeah,
person.
not cool. Like that's peasant fucking cake. Like
I fucking love it. Luke, I'm
Yeah.
with you, buddy. Carrot cake with a bit of, not cream, but the icing
Yes,
on top.
yes.
T, can you chime in on this? What are your thoughts on carrot cake?
Not cool.
Yes,
So,
decided.
just so you guys know, we're looking for a new assistant here.
Before we leave, I want to point out one more thing that's cool. Can you switch the camera to the other camera, Mike? Luke's shirt is cool. Foo Fighters, Big Me.
Thank you.
That is a cool shirt, and I think that's a good way to end it.
I'll jot that one down for next time. Thanks very much for listening and watching, guys. We'll see you next week. Thank you very much.
Yeah.